Hi everyone, this is Matt with the Grappling Podcast, and in today's episode, Levi and I jump around a little bit on our topics, but they're all around the theme of what we are currently working on and things we're thinking about as it relates to, obviously you guessed it, jiu-jitsu. So we start off the episode talking about 12 things that you should never do in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's actually a video that was posted by Jordan Teaches Jiu-Jitsu. It's on YouTube. It's free. We definitely recommend you check it out. I'm going to be putting a link in the show notes, and just really could help avoid some catastrophic injuries in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for you and your training partners. And then we jump into our topics. We got a few of them. We talk about things that we've learned and like, and kind of the direction we're looking to take our training for now. So, as always, we hope you get a lot of value out of this. If you enjoy it, please share it with a friend. We definitely rely on that for growing the podcast. And with that, thank you so much. We hope you enjoy this episode. Levi.
Yes.
Hold on, I can't hear myself.
I can hear me.
It's like I'm not
That's all I care
podcasting.
about.
Hold on. Is this me?
It sounded weird. In the beginning, it felt weird, like
It's
I was going back and forth. And now I'm like, I have to hear my voice.
I actually have a story about the beginning.
Of our podcast?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Today is the anniversary of our first recording. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Like date-wise?
Yeah,
July
July 2nd. I have a 5-year journal.
You know what? I had a picture on my phone that showed like a memory thing.
Yeah.
And it showed a liquid death in the office by the microphone. Or the microphone. I thought, oh, that's weird. Like I just noticed it, but now I connect it. Okay.
Yeah. I wrote it in my journal and I was like, oh, that's cool when I was journaling this morning.
Episode 1.
Yeah.
And that was
Less
episode
lightsabers.
53.
Yeah, this is 53. So there you go, folks. Over the course of 1 year, we've done 53 episodes.
Yeah, once a week. Wow.
That's pretty good.
We're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty good.
That's a good feeling. I like hearing that.
We accomplished something.
That's kind of like your schedule thing that we talked about, like the setting something almost like once a week type of thing.
Yeah, just keep churning and burning.
I feel good about that.
Be great at the mundane.
Nice.
Yeah.
Be great at the mundane.
TM.
Say that with my guard passing.
Yeah.
Be great at the mundane.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That's funny they had a liquid death water because we have a liquid death water problem around here at the studio.
I don't know. Do you think this is something that's like a training thing? I was thinking about stocking up on these, but I don't know if this is like you're rolling and...
Probably not because of carbonation.
Yeah, maybe it's a carbonation.
Get a little burpy.
Maybe
but I do really enjoy these. You've got me hooked on these. I blame you on it.
They're pretty healthy.
And it was funny, folks, today.
Healthy-ish.
So I brought some...
Dude, there's paprika in here.
Really? That's funny. Oh my God.
That's something I expected in my drink, to have paprika.
So I tried to surprise Levi with some LDWs, liquid death waters, and then Levi surprised me with an LDW, so we're covered for the next 2 days.
We're good. At some point, we can get sponsored. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, LDW, if you're listening, we want you. We want you inside of us. Okay. So Levi and I are going to try something a little bit different today. Last week, we joked around about doing an episode without a specific topic to see where it goes. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, we're not doing that. But what we're going to do is, I would say that adjacent. Would that be fair? Because,
adjacent?
Yeah, that idea, but adjacent to it in that our plan for this episode is we each are going to share like 2-ish things we've been recently working on / exploring when it comes to jiu-jitsu. We don't know what the other's going to say. We haven't discussed it beforehand, and we have some other topics to cover. But really, the goal is just as long as our information is valuable.
We have other topics to cover?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
Before we jump in, I was going to ask you if you've seen this episode on Jordan Teaches Jiu-Jitsu, but I actually sent it to you today, so you watched it.
So I watched it.
So everyone, this is more of a public service announcement.
I don't have a sound effect for that. Do we have a sound effect?
This just in. This just in.
I'm okay with that.
So Jordan Teaches Jiu-Jitsu on YouTube has a great video on how to not hurt yourself and your training partner.
Would it be hard if Jordan here did a course online that says Jordan Teaches Wrestling?
Oh, but the problem is Jordan Teaches Jiu-Jitsu has a Jordan Teaches Wrestling course.
Really?
Yeah, I bought it. It was good a while
he
ago.
didn't teach it. It was like the other guy that taught it.
Yep.
That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah.
My Jordan.
But anyways, it was called 12 Things You Should Never Do in BJJ. And I know that's kind of a clickbaity title, but I think
was true, though.
It was very full of good information.
It was really good.
Very good.
I think that would be, we kind of talked about this before, like there should almost be like videos that are so standard in our community of someone talking about it that should be placed to every single like health and safety thing that any jiu-jitsu gym gives to like a brand new member.
Yeah.
Like watch these 5 videos before you
start to roll.
To
unlock rolling. If you just want to come do techniques, just show up.
But rolling wise, like it's a real thing. I always say it's a privilege here. It sounds like a parent thing, but no one can just sign up and walk on these mats and just spar anybody. You know, like it's a huge safety thing. Even though we do things like arm locks and chokes and all that craziness, like it's only possible because we have the ability to tap out and to say we're done and to not inflict pain on ourselves.
Yeah, and there's the reality that we're doing a combat activity that if things go well, it actually is pretty cool and pretty fun, and most people don't get hurt. So but the falling weight thing is a problem, and that video talked about that a little bit.
There was a quote, a guy down further of the state, I'm missing his name right now, but he had an interesting quote that said, jiu-jitsu should be playful, precise, and painless.
I like that.
I thought that was an interesting kind of, at least a framework, right?
Yeah. Well, you look at like the best guys, they don't seem to, from what I can remember, do that stuff. Like, and by the way, everyone, we're talking about like flying scissor takedowns that go wrong.
Well, so his video was like technique based, or tactic based.
I would say technique based. Well, I guess it was both because
in the beginning it was technique.
Yeah,
and then it kind of merged more towards.
Yes, because then it was like turning your neck the way your shoulder needs to roll. That way you don't crank your neck the other way. That one's scary.
Nightmare fuel watching that stuff.
Yeah, and or like the fact that in the video he talks about like some techniques that you shouldn't do. And some like things to be mindful of when you're rolling, so you don't hurt yourself or potentially hurt your partner catastrophically just from falling weight, going the wrong way. You zig, they zag. The weight's in the right way, they can't move, and bam, you have a snapped fibula, like that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So everyone, please go watch that. It's very informative. I actually like the ones too where he talked about how he'll try to protect his partner's neck with certain sweeps and stuff. He'll actually like literally push their head in, so in a way that takes their head out of the equation, so they fall on their back and not their head and stuff.
I just always think when it comes to rolling and sparring, I'm always treating people as if they're a really good friend of mine. I think but maybe that's the thing. Like someone else could have that same mentality with their own friends, but it's like, would you put your friend in a hospital, or would you put your friend break their leg or break their arm or whatever? It's like, no, I would hope you wouldn't. But that's the mentality I do with anybody here. Like that always, we use this word wrong, supersedes?
Supersedes. Let me look it up.
Supersedes.
I use words wrong all the time. So let me try to.
Supersedes winning. Like we're playing a game, but it's not like, I saw they're coming out with Gladiator 2. I feel like I have like ADHD in my brain. Like,
are you meaning with Russell Crowe?
Yeah.
Right?
No. But it's
Gladiator 2?
like there's a second one that's not with him.
I am annoyed about hearing that.
What, the second one?
Yeah, I'm annoyed about that. What you just told me.
I'm sorry.
I don't
like it either.
I'm not mad at you.
Like
I'm just mad that it was a perfect movie.
It
doesn't need a sequel.
Guess what? We need a second one.
They're just trying to milk every IP they can.
I say that it's like every match should not be a gladiatorial style event. You know, even local competitions shouldn't be that way. It's like you want to be competitive. You want to definitely turn up the heat, but it should never go past a point where you're hurting somebody. Like it just, I think it actually violates the game, because we talk about things like tapping out. Now there's a difference between someone having their arm fully extended and they're running around for 5 seconds and they're clearly in danger and this other person's taking care of them, versus someone not giving you the chance to tap, like just quickly grab you and break it. So to me, it's a hard definition, but I call it assault.
Oh, I think that's fair, because like even GSP talks about at the highest level, he said in the submission, because someone asked him like, would you rather be, I think it was like one of those like GQ things, would you rather be knocked out or submitted? And he was like, I'd rather be submitted. And the reason being is there's the gentleman's agreement that for a second before you apply the submission, so he's talking about the highest level in the cage.
Yeah.
You give essentially they give a second to tap. So you can go, oh no, and then you can hit the tap button and be like, I'm done, before it gets catastrophic on you. And that if they can do that at that level, I think at our amateur's not even the right word, our hobbyist playing around, having fun with our friends level, we could maybe give 3 seconds.
People see that with Gordon. Gordon does that a lot of times too. Gives them plenty of time to tap out because they're professionals as well too. But just he knows them too. I think the hard part with competitions is that you walk into the ring and you don't know this other person. Like you've competed with people that you didn't know at all. So it's like I think it's defaulted for the other person. Might go, I don't know who this person is, and I can't give them an inch because they won't give me an inch, and just like weird.
I wonder how much that happens the older you get, though, because like I was definitely seeing some different vibes when I did that competition with the guys that I was going against.
Are you saying more intense?
Less intense. More like, I think people would just seemed a little more chill, just to be like, all right, let's do it. You know, the first guy was a little bit more like wiry and like, oh my goodness. But compared to when you see a bunch of 20-year-olds go at it, which it's cool watching them go at it, but there's a more of this like conviction to like, I'm going to get this, like the self-assurance, this like aggression that I feel like I can even feel in myself compared to when I was like younger doing combat activities. Like I do not have that aggression to the level that I have anymore. Doesn't mean, or that I don't have that same level now.
Eek. Think
you know?
You're already in trouble in the mats.
Well, but I try to do it with precision and technique, and like I still want to do my best, but I'm trying to learn the perfect process, right? Like I'm trying to execute on this process, and that's actually why I keep showing up. It isn't trying to win a submission, you know? What do you think about that? How you've been doing jiu-jitsu longer than me? Do you feel like you had more like going for it with taps when you were younger?
I've always been an old man when it came to jiu-jitsu. The hard part was I was always, this sounds really egotistical, but I've always been around a room where I was basically one of the best people in the room.
You were an early adopter.
Yeah, like I was a blue belt and everybody else was white belts, or I was a purple belt and everybody was like, my main core group of people were not, like, I wasn't surrounding myself with black belts and white belts and things like that. So I wasn't part of a typical gym culture where there was the whole, African savanna of different beasts and things like that. Like I didn't have that. So.
Maybe your experience was actually more typical. Because think about it, most schools are a lot of white belts and blue belts and then a couple purple belts. Once the school is really established, then you'll have a wider range of that.
Yeah.
But with the attrition rate and just time and just the way it works, maybe your experience is actually more standard than what people realize versus like it's not like you're training at New Wave, right?
No.
Or B Team or some other big competition school.
I wonder how many people who train at places like New Wave or B Team are full-on hobbyists. Can you imagine the person, Matt, that's like 2 blocks away? When I was at the Grace University, and I was part of like one of their...
You're saying in Torrance?
In Torrance.
Okay.
So I was there. I took like one of their combatives classes, like basically one of their beginner classes, and I'm partnering with some white belt whom I hated because he he clawed my hand so hard that
Hate's
he
a
just...
strong word.
It is hate because like it was just like he was so incredibly tight or anxious that he just clawed across my hand, and it was like the surface level cut, so it was bleeding a lot, and like literally we were 5 minutes away from open rolling. And there was like all these people was like, cool, I'm gonna go roll with him, and I couldn't because it just kept bleeding.
Dang.
And I was like, but anyways, the guy was
tape
like,
it up?
Yeah, but it just kept bleeding, so I just tried to tape it up, but it was still like I didn't want someone to bump it, and it kept bleeding. But the guy was actually 2 blocks away from the school, and just saw, I saw there was a jiu-jitsu school down the road. I wanted to check it out. I'm like, dude, this is like one of the more renowned places in the world to train jiu-jitsu. It's like 2 blocks from your house. But I can't imagine like with B Team or whatever, someone's like, oh, I'm going to look for jiu-jitsu schools around the area. Like, oh, there's this place called the B Team. Well, they sound pretty second. Might not be the best. But like for those guys going in, I'm sure they have a more chill environment too. But how many of them truly go in there for the Tuesday night hangout versus like any sort of competition type of thing?
I bet you their school would be both because they do have kind of like an open door policy. And here's a newsflash. More students means you can make more money, so it's a business.
Well, they also have the thing where on the side of the room they have like the competition side. Like you go past this pillar and it's competitor side.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's all the time, but it's something where it's.
I think that's kind of fair, just to be like, hey, we get it. Like they give them more space. Like this is how they make their money. Let's make sure they don't get fallen on. Yeah. If you want to compete in a bunch and whatnot, you can come over to that side too. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Like,
I think there's that's as close as a line as I can draw because I don't know if competition means like how do you define a competitor? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of like this
local.
unspoken thing where they just like, hey, give them some space. Be like, if everybody's cool about it, like if I was training there and I was just a hobbyist, I would totally give those guys space because I'd be like, I don't want to fall on somebody and hurt somebody because I wasn't paying attention. Or if they're really getting after, I don't want to get fallen on, like,
Yeah,
it just to be like, I've got no illusions. Like, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm a blue belt.
I could see that.
I'm just going to chill over here and have some good rolls and have a good time,
Have a good time.
So, anyways, go watch that 12 things you should never do in BJJ thing. I'm just going to say that again because I just don't want. I feel like if we say things like this enough, we could save someone from blowing a knee out, or hurting somebody's neck.
Well, Danaher said that of the number one injury he sees is uncontrolled falling or uncontrolled. He used a better word than I did.
Uncontrolled gravitational force.
Yeah, but it's true. People throwing their weight. There's no arguments to it. I don't know why the hell anybody would do that anymore. Like a couple times I'm watching, even here at the Invitational, I'm like, like my back my brain's watching the guys move, and I'm like, like I could see someone a couple times looking to jump guard, and I was like, I'm not gonna name names, but like I saw someone that was like
saying jumping close guard,
just throwing their weight on top of the hips, so the other person was standing and they'd be able to like tie up and then throw their weight, like jump their weight on top of the hips. Like you can't do that. The hard part of pulling guard with the gi, way easier. Just drag someone down by their lapel and then lock your legs up however you want. There's no way. There's no way you could do that against someone competitive in a sportive match in no gi. You can't collar tie their head, but come down to close guard with me. They don't do that. There's none of that. Close guard only happens is if the person gets taken down to scramble for guard passing and the person uses it to recover and stop the guard passing.
They do like a low leg.
That's the only way safely to do it. But you can't start a match going, let's get to close guard.
Yeah, you almost have to like shoot close guard from like when they're low and you're low, like kind of thing, right? You're
That's
on your
the only way.
You're supine and you just
you could be,
scoot in.
You could be seated in a butterfly and try to get your
scuttle like a crab.
Scuttle.
You gotta scuttle to close guard, folks.
I like that word. Scuttle.
I feel like I do a lot of scuttling ever since I've been playing guard.
Scholars. Oh, playing guard. Well, let's get into our topics.
Yeah, that was one of my things.
Playing guard?
There's a little more specific than that, but yeah, that's like in a general sense. Because I spent so long just working my top game and with takedowns and stuff, I had a pretty shitty guard game, and which is kind of a reverse because I went from having a like what I would have considered when I was a like 2-stripe white belt for a 2-stripe white belt, good. Like I had it, like my guard was my like home, that's what I was comfortable with. And then I at like 2 stripes or whatever it was, I was like, you know what? I need to get better at passing. So then I spent so much time in passing, I didn't stop until I'm a 1-stripe blue belt now, and I've learned a lot of passes, some that didn't work. Definitely invested my time in the wrong areas at some points. But in general, I feel like my passing is better than what I was at a 2-stripe white belt.
Oh, that's a good feeling.
But my guard game isn't as good. So, actually, my 2 items here were around playing guard, and I'm really working on developing my X guard, partially because Rob recommended it because I kept ending up there naturally. So I was like, hey, cool. Might as well. And so that's something I'm working, and I've noticed I've been playing around with like better routes to try and get some sweeps and connect some things together on the bottom.
Nice.
That's something I've been playing around with. And yeah, I just had some cool like light bulb moments as far as when someone's coming into pass, since I've been playing more supine, relaxed positions. Hopefully this helps a fellow blue or white belt listening, or a purple belt who's really bad at playing guard. So I started trying to play long range sweeps.
Okay.
And those are cool. I like them, and they work on people who don't know what's happening. But the problem is, if they're coming into pass, as I try to set up the long range sweep, I end up giving them too much control over one of my limbs because they get like an ankle or something like that, because you're essentially putting it right in the perfect spot for them, that it's really hard to get those sweeps. So I've been trying to shoot for X guard just to get to X guard, and then when the person is detangling it, and if they do detangle it before I can sweep them or have some other type of control position, that is when you hit the long-range sweep. It's actually on them backing out of the guard engagement is when you hit it. And because they're not looking to necessarily grab your ankles at that point, they're trying to unravel, and their hands are busy, and then you can go, boom, hit them with a little sweep ski. But yeah, that's just something. That's something I've been kind of a light bulb moment for me. Use the long range sweeps as they're backing up.
Yeah, that's what Rob was saying about disengaging from De La Riva. Like as they back off, you hit the Keenan sweep. Luke was trying to hit me on that Saturday
With the Keenan?
Yeah,
Nice.
but he said the Keenan sweep, and I'm like, did I tell you about Rob what he was talking about with the sweep? And he's like, I don't think I remember. I'm like, it's funny that you're using that. We just kept rolling, but we didn't get a chance to break it down too much. I've been working guard retention.
Ooh.
So that's been my big thing.
Not recovery? Or
A little bit of both, right?
Would you put those together?
Recovery, I guess, is like secondary guard retention. It's like kind of get past a little bit and you recover, which is fine. I guess I kind of bounce between both of them, but I really liked Rob's examples of basically, I can't remember what he said, something about in a competition he's never had his guard passed.
I don't know.
That. I think he said something till like, it might not be that specific, but he said something pretty strong to that. And I just felt like we've talked about with opening engagement phases, I just feel like maybe this would be a good example for Jordan when he gets on here, but like how much offense should a wrestler learn and how much defense should a wrestler learn? You know, like what would be a good balance between like energy? Like if you had 100 training hour sessions, like how much of that should be dedicated to offense versus defensive measures, you know? So what I'm saying about that is like, let's say guard offense versus guard defense or retention. I just felt like if I put all my eggs in one basket right now and said, they're not going to pass my guard, like how much could I really keep them away from passing versus doing anything offensive? But I like the idea because I think just by feeling Rob Bernacki is quick reference.
We're all best friends with him now. So
basically, yeah, I text him all the time. That how much could I level up my game, especially when I experienced Rob's guard and his game and the way that he acts. I'm like, this is all Jedi stuff. Like this is not the result of some 50-year-old steroided man that's just bullying me around. Like it was completely a framework and skill sets. The way his physique is. Sorry, Rob, you know it's true.
Well, yeah,
but like the way he is,
he's fit, but like he's not like a big super juiced up
but
dude
I
or
think it's
something, you know?
just his hardwired brain, and I think that's what addicted me to this whole process.
And he's strong. He's strong.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got his strength. Like, well, it's hard because then Rob would say things like, "Oh," he's like, he's old man strength. He said the same thing with grips. Like, oh, you're so strong, but he showed how he like held it.
Yeah.
So I think things like that amplify
huge level up
the perception. But so things like that, I think he just has such an awareness of it that I feel like now it's more of a studying session, which is nice. It's kind of my realm. I'd rather be studying than saying, "Sorry, Levi, you're in your mid-30s. You know, if you want to be like this, you'd have to be back in your 20s again to have this level of intensity to keep up your guard."
Well, yeah, you can watch some of the guys who are like ADCC trials.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my goodness. That dude's got endless energy.
Part of it's like, I'm sure Rob might have a difficult time, someone in their early 30s or in their 20s, if he were to go like a hardcore ADCC trial, you know, just a theory.
Well, yeah, I feel like some of those guys can just grind you down from just pure effort.
I think coming back to some of our conversations when it comes to the belts and what you should be aiming for as far as success in jiu-jitsu, I think to me it's saying I should be able to take on people roughly my same physical profile, meaning age and size. So someone in my 30s, same size, or even just a little bit younger than 30s and same size, I should be destroying them. Like that's browns or black belts. Like at least brown belts at this point, I feel like I should be destroying them. Like that's the framework. Because if Rob at 47 can, I mean, I'm not some big athletic freak or whatever, but like some guy who's basically, 12 years, 13 years younger than him, and I feel I've been pretty competent in jiu-jitsu for a long time, and he just treated me like nothing to move around. Like that's not just close to competitive. It's like he has a whole framework that he just...
You were turning purple.
Oh, he was making a point, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you were turning like ashy and purple
I was
color.
like, I knew what he was doing. I'm like, God, he's gonna get out of this.
Yeah.
And Scandinavian skin doesn't help with any of that stuff.
It was interesting. I've never seen you that like pale and ashy before, you know?
Well, because I think it was a little bit an ego thing too, because I knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to get out of this roadhouse choke, to play.
Yeah,
Even if it meant me going to mount or back them out. I was trying to leave. He's like, no, we're staying right here. He just forked it, and I'm like, gosh darn it, like.
And it really didn't crush your windpipe, right? It was just a blood choke.
But it's showing how.
Right? Was it just so?
100%.
Yeah, it 100%. Was like just.
I don't.
You actually can't do windpipe chokes with one single hand. That's actually against many rule sets.
It's like he wedged his elbow to his torso.
Okay.
And was like just kind of pressuring down, and the middle of the hand right here just kind of like went to the sides. So it's not actually in the front of the throat. It's like this, like pushing.
Yeah.
It's like on the sides right here. It's like that's all the pressure
for
was
listeners,
going.
Levi is choking himself.
But like there was the thumb and the index was
just
right
here.
On
the carotid.
Like if someone did that to you, you're not going to feel it in the front here. It's like just I go forward
funny.
Right here.
It seems like such bullshit, but I've seen it be like too effective.
But that's I think that's where he was. I think that's what he's trying to do, Matt.
Yeah,
he's trying to do
effective.
But he's trying to do bullshitty type moves now in competitions. I guarantee when he does like more ADCC type events that he puts on more of an A game. But I know he also says that he focuses on one or two moves. He's like, I'm either getting an omoplata or I'm getting a roadhouse choke. Like two unique moves.
Yeah.
And he's like, these are the only ones I'm going to go for.
I guess one's a top and one's a bottom attack.
Yeah, but just like, especially for his wins or whatever, it's interesting that he goes, like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, this is what I'm going to go for at
That's
that
cool.
point. But it's like, versus like, I'm going to use all my tools. I'm just going to get whatever I can and win. Like, he still picked two things. And like, I'm not happy unless I hit these either one of these things.
Which is actually a cool idea. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that. Okay.
So we both kind of have relatively the same. You're doing some good guard offensive work in X guard, and I'm just working on some retention and guard pass prevention at this point. I know it's not forever, but it's like kind of building my cardio up a bit. Guard retention-wise, I want to build like that endurance where I can just keep people at bay a little bit.
That's a good idea because last Friday when we were doing the drills, Jordan was kind enough to help me with like passing. Like he was trying to pass, and I asked him to do the same pass over and over unless I come up with a good answer to it. I didn't come up with a good answer. But it was a good exercise because I was like trying to figure out like, okay, well, what if I can disengage like this and disengage like that? And it came down to I had to be just way more active. And he gave me some good pointers afterward about how it was a lot harder to pass when I was just more active, trying to retain my guard, trying to recover my guard, trying to keep moving a lot more. But man, it was tiring. It was way more tiring.
I can hear that.
So I think I like where you're going with that one.
So I'm trying.
Let's see. Okay, here's something else I'm going to try on the topic of X guard.
Is that your point 2 or is this point?
I don't know.
Okay.
This is point 3, but I haven't made point 1 yet. No. Cupping the knee and X guard and turning it out because they want to turn it in. And just something I want to play with a little bit.
Cupping the knee
and turning it out. Yeah, and you do this.
So I'm in X guard.
I'm in X guard.
Okay, I'm standing in your X guard.
Yep.
Okay.
And I grab. Okay, and now I'm gonna actually heist your leg up to shoulder. Okay. It's not gonna be the Ashi style grip.
Underhooking it.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it.
And then I'm actually instead of grabbing your foot, I'm gonna grab your knee.
Ooh, okay, I see that.
Around your kind of by your hamstring area too, and I'm gonna twist your leg out gently.
Oh man. Oh. God.
I'm not gonna pull on your kneecap.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Yeah. No. No. And then I'm gonna turn it out a little bit.
Okay.
With the idea being now you're like your hip can't go anywhere. You know, you're really opened up.
Locked in place.
Maybe it'll make my sweep a little
Rob
easier.
Tell you that?
No, I actually watched that on a different Jordan Teaches Jiu-Jitsu video.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I saw that and I was like, what a great tip. So I'm gonna try that. I haven't tried it yet. I think he was doing both in that one.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was a tactic that like you grab the gi pants and turn around.
I didn't see that. It looked like his hand was resting over the top of the leg.
Gotcha.
But I think that only works from having it by your shoulder. Someone's gross foot by your shoulder. I hate having that by my head.
It's a real thing.
You know, if people were wearing jiu-jitsu socks, I wouldn't be mad about that.
One big onesie.
Yeah, maybe we just wear coveralls.
Matt, your ideas are getting better now. Look at that.
A jiu-jitsu onesie. Hey, that could work. Be like one of those Green Man suits, like that you.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it'd be kind of funny actually if everybody was wearing those.
I'm so tempted for next Halloween to do like one of those T-Rex outfits and just.
Dude, that thing's gonna get murdered.
What?
The thing's gonna get destroyed.
I'm fine with that. I'll throw that away just to kill each other with it. Funny.
I like it. Okay, so what's your next item?
I actually liked the other day when we were going over back control offense, like controlling. I think Jordan was giving an example too of like yeah, I just feel like when people slip out, like I'm just recovering to another position and just sort of this ability to keep people within back control. Back control is not a spot where you're going to go. I think it's a much less spot that you could flail out and like trick someone up. Like you can't it's hard to combo good back control escapes. I think if you really establish stopping back control for like 1 or 2 times, that people get a lot more upset. That I think you'll kind of wear people out. And that's what I was talking with Preston the other day.
Interesting.
It's like the whole idea is like the room's on fire. You open the door, they leave, and they come right back into the room. Like it's the same room. Like you want people.
That's a funny visual where you're like, oh my God, I'm out. I'm back in. And you ever seen that South Park with the timeshare?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
and the little lift that comes right up into it. Too.
Yeah. They walk out of the room and they're into the same room they were just in. Oh, I love it. Okay. No, I like it. Timeshare level back control.
Like it's I mean, I always said it was like a Twilight Zone type thing. Like you should always feel like I can't get out of this. This is just crazy.
They're just gonna have to buy that
but
timeshare.
The problem is that people just try to submit. They don't try to control. I think so many people when they get to back control, they go, "This is the time to submit. Here I go." Especially overhook side. You go overhook side and you don't have a rear naked choke set. Like they're gonna try it and then they're gonna slip out and they go, "Oh no, back to mount." Like I think people are giving it up way too easy.
Do you think that's
because mount
from
is,
the?
Oh, go for it.
Do you think that's from like back control in the gi? You can, if you get a lapel, it's like go time. You get a lapel in part of their pant leg. If they can try escaping, you're just gonna rip the lapel over their face and throw an arrow choke them. Like you don't have to control as much. It feels like
the hard part is that I think people see them getting back to mount as still a win. Like if somehow there's
you're saying the aggressor.
Sorry, the person inside the back control, like they're the ones getting attacked. Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right, the aggressor. So like, let's say I'm attacking someone back control and they slip, and I go, well, at least I got mount. So they go back to mount. So like, they don't see it as a loss. They just saw, I'm still in mount.
I see what you're saying.
Versus like, you had a very good spot.
You had one of the best.
Like if there was an escape in back control that landed the person who was attacking into a very defensive position, I think people would be more upset that they lost back control. But because it kind of takes you one step down the ladder of getting back on top, I think people don't get too upset about it.
You know, I think
you should get more upset about it.
Tell me if this heuristic is legit. So if someone has back control and the other person, they're losing it, it's actually one of the positions where you should give everything to try to maintain that position? Or do you think you're better off like, because like, you know what, everybody has like, they don't give it their all to maintain every position, right? At least I don't. I like, you know, like there's a certain level of resistance where you go, you know what, I'll just go to this spot instead. And then you just kind of move to something else.
Let's say if I lost back control and I'm back on mount, I guess
you're in back control. They're escaping.
Correct. And I take mount again.
No. It's mid-escape.
Mid-escape.
Is this worth spending? Like, is this a scenario where people who are listening go, if there's a time to dump all of your energy to maintain this, it's that moment right there?
Yeah.
Or do you think you're better off going, you know what? Save the energy, go to mount, and then just take the back again?
No, you should keep it.
Okay.
You should keep it for sure.
So that is a place to hit the gas pedal.
I say that because I think unless you can articulate to me, like not you specifically, but anybody else to say, okay, you're back in mount, what are you going to do again?
Try to get the arm right across, and I'd be...
Are you going for an arm triangle? I mean,
it depends where I land.
We showed it last night of saying, let's say they are fully leaving, or we can bait them leaving, how we can punch an arm triangle through on the overhook side.
Or I do that arm in rear naked choke. I've had a lot of success with.
So there are things that you can do that, but you better have a really good plan. Like if you're going back to mount, it should be done at that point. If you get to mount and they leave mount, I'm giving you the look. Like,
oh yeah,
why? Okay, go mount. But there should not be any retraction now. It should either be mount or back control. Mount, back control, or spiderweb.
Because it is kind of funny when you keep taking back control though. Because there is something
that's fine
mentally crushing about. Okay, you go to mount, you go, that's fine, dude.
So
you set it up and you retake.
We show that a little bit, like right? As you slip and they go, it's not retaking. It's You don't still go to mount and do it again?
No.
You grab it and drag them back into back control. That's the room's on fire type thing. They think, oh, you're just going to take mount. Nope, I'm pulling you right back in. And you go, like, oh, I thought I could bait you out of this.
That's true. Plus, it's little movements too.
Yeah.
Versus a big movement, then they can do a big movement. Just like you do that little thing, and I actually been using it ever since you did it on me. when someone pulls you to back and then you go and you scuttle north pretty hard.
Go flat.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is people go like, oh, shit.
Can't pull them up.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's really annoying to people. It's not like I'm out of the fire, but it's just like a little bit cooler,
I think there's definitely a comfort that some people don't mind. What was the quote I gave myself? It was like, everything should be underneath your control when you're in a match. Like, if you're going to be upset about yourself. Like, let's say someone takes your back and chokes you. Well, how much was that of you letting them take your back? Like, did you let them, or were you trying not to and they took your back? Guard passing is a good example. So, like, I worked with Luke on Saturday and we did guard pass prevention. My whole goal was sitting here going, I'm not letting him pass my guard. So he legit, got a leg through, and I was upset about that. Because it was like,
I
was actually trying to stop him from doing it. But that's a real measurement.
Good job, Luke, if you're listening.
But I'm saying that's a real measurement. So to me, I wasn't upset about it. It was just not like, it was the proper place to get upset about it because I was purposely trying versus like, hey, why don't we just play a little bit and roll? And you slide through, we do side control. And I think
that can be a mask that like stunts your growth sometimes.
100%. Jordan and I were talking about that the other day on a similar topic. Like, sometimes if you really want to progress and get better, you need those hard conversations with that to be like, I let people do this, and also in competition, someone's taking your back. Like, you should have more of a habit of what's a good example? Like, over the top. You need a switch. You need to be able to switch it to say nope or totally fine. Like, you can't have it either which way all the time. You can be totally fine if you never compete, but you should also have the ability to switch it to go, I'm going to give this my all right now and not let someone.
I think it's important to try because, like, maybe like whenever you're trying to bust through a plateau or whatever it is that you're going for, if you're trying to improve, right?
I think the balance is like we talked about with like intensity and safety and stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
like your speed of movement.
So that's a hard thing.
Because like Rob wasn't moving fast, but wasn't letting me get anything, right? Yeah. Like, so it wasn't like he was hurting me or anything. It was just like, dang, I can't get through the wall, Because I notice myself sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I'm just doing whatever. Because right now I'll admit I'm in kind of a cruising mode just because we got the baby on the way and whatnot. And so I'm still going to keep training as much as I can, but I'm also not like I'm not like, all right, I'm going to push hard right now and try to make some serious gains. But I do notice when I am preparing for a competition, there is that little voice in your head that sometimes goes like, hey, don't try your hardest, because then you can tell yourself you didn't try your hardest. But it's like, you need to shut that voice up, because it's going to, like, it's a liar and it's going to stunt your ability to get better. You need to go, no, I'm going to try my hardest to do my best. And if I lose, then guess what? I wasn't good enough, but that's okay, because now at least I can improve myself.
No, it's a real thing. So I think a lot of times when we're doing that kind of stuff, I think it's purposeful to have that kind of focus, especially when you're rolling. You should always have that one focus to say, every single roll I have tonight, I'm going to get this thing. And whatever variety it looks like, against a really tough person, a really easy person, you're going to check it off, and then you're going to move on with your day. Like, that's what you're going to do. That's your one assassination right there. Boom, got it. And now everything else is just play. And you don't have to worry about anything else. Unless you have a secondary goal you want to work on from like a different position.
Or try and get it on everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody.
Oh, okay.
Not just one person, sorry.
Okay.
But like every single person you work with, like, you should be trying to get this one thing. And then you can work on your levels of resistances with each person. So, for example, if my goal is to get a rear naked choke on everybody, well, there's some people I'll breeze through, get their back, rear naked choke, just kind of play through. Other people, maybe they have a hard time getting their back, and there's other people who might go, I can't even get past their guard. So at least that gives you a measurement, and then who the person is, their physical profile. So you can kind of like give yourself a rough estimate to go, yeah, well, it was such and such, they're a brown belt or bigger than me, and go, like, you can kind of give yourself lenience. But it's like, it should always be the people who maybe are a year younger than you in experience, and maybe the same physical profile or smaller, that you should be more upset that if you can't achieve that goal, kind of thing. So
you use the word upset lightly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's as much as upset.
More so just like,
Matt,
is upset the right word?
Would I say upset? Would you say what's the word you would use if you were I try not to laugh too hard with this. like you couldn't beat those Valkyries in God of War. Give me God of War.
I didn't actually get upset.
Oh, I'd get upset. I'm
No,
saying
I don't actually really get upset at games unless like the game itself is like not working.
how about like
you know?
healthily frustrated? Like it shows that you're caring about something. Like you're trying to like turn those mental
Let me think
things.
here.
But
Let me
you
think
should
of the
get
right word. Let me think of the right word.
I don't have the
Because
thesaurus for
upset
this.
to me seems like
I know, that's
I
like-
am mad
that's
or
off the chain,
crying
yeah.
or like something like that. Versus
like you're,
I am reflective on it. I am intentionally reflective.
but it's like you're caring about it too, though.
Yeah.
If you really want to achieve something, like you're caring about
I'm
like
putting a
trying
lot
to
of
solve
thought,
this.
a lot of
Yeah.
thought into it. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's good because I think sometimes, like you said about like not caring, I think sometimes when you don't care about it, it's an easy way to deflect a loss. Because you go, well, I didn't care about it, so I actually didn't give it my all. I didn't really try, so it's okay. But if you cared about it, I always give the example with that with self-defense, that like if it's not a real example, but I just like the visual. Like if I gave you my wallet, like you were asking for the wallet, it's easier. Sorry,
Okay,
Matt.
I got
Matt
it.
took my wallet actually.
I got it. Okay. Now what do I do?
But I gave it to you versus like
Do I
if I
shoot you
if I
now?
held it in my hand and you stripped it out of my hand and I tried everything to stop it, that would hurt me way more than if I had just said, "Cool, here it is."
Mm.
So I think a lot of times in rolling, people kind of do that. They kind of go, "Here's my arm, here's my," not like that straightforward, but they don't fight it as hard.
Okay.
Like they kind of go, "Okay, you're going," and all of a sudden like, you're kind of going, or the whole like, you tweaked my neck, or you did this and this and this. Like it's examples of saying, I just gave you this thing, versus you didn't take it from me. That's like the whole different ways of tapping, like guiding the person through the tap. Like, yep, you want to adjust the elbow like this? Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, but you're doing it in a way to go like, yep, you take the wallet like this. There. Oh man, there you go. It's like you're just actually trying to save your ego that you actually gave it your all and they still took it from you.
Yeah. Or I guess I'm trying to think of the time because I know exactly what you're talking about. There is one moment I think that coaching somebody through it is if like they're trying for like 10 seconds and they're just not even close to getting
No,
it.
but you
know?
can't be in the back of your mind going, I knew he had my number and I'm just
Oh yeah, no.
coaching.
If they
at that
got
point.
you, they got you.
Yeah.
Like
But I'm saying I think people don't
eat
like,
your humble pie.
even though jiu-jitsu is a lot of rawness, I think there's still ways that people find ways to hide it, you know? That's why I like a lot with Nogi these days because you don't see ranks, you don't see skill levels. Like I just feel the person, and that's a cool thing to me.
That is cool.
That's what sucks with Rob. Rob was the only person in a while that I was actually really intimidated to roll because I was working with him, and I was like, my brain was working overtime of like different things to do, and I was like, yeah, I would have read to went through this stuff. I'm like, he's like, why didn't you do it? I'm like, because it's you. Like, I just feel like it's the most common path. Like you're gonna just catch me with something. So I was overthinking of like what to do. He goes, just forget that it's me. This next time we go, I'm like, "Ooh, okay." And
I think the
try
more
to
you roll
capsize
them,
him, and then he's like,
if you rolled like every day of a month with them, then I think by the end it would be just like
for
you
sure.
know,
I mean, it's the same with you rolling me or Luke rolling me or whatever. It's like in the beginning it's different, but you sort of like, it's like you make them bleed, and then suddenly you're like, ooh, you're just a man.
I was thinking more you just get used to their game.
I think Rob is like Agent Smith. Like I think
Agent Smith.
He's got like
You hear that, Rob?
he is because I think he's just tuned in with the Matrix way too much. That's like you kill him and then another agent pops up somewhere. It's like, gosh darn it! How'd you get here?
By the way, have you seen the Master Ken and Craig Jones video? I don't know how old it is. I sent it to Aaron. It's hilarious.
Oh,
With
the knife, the belt knife
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
belt
Yeah,
knife.
yeah.
Everyone, I don't want to wreck it for you, so just go watch the Master Ken
North
short.
South one, and
Yeah, he's got
it was
his
Craig
belt
and
knife. How
Gary Tonin.
I don't know how he keeps his face straight. Like
I think I've only saw one time that he ever broke, and it was like
He's
maybe
so
sudden. Like he
good
keeps it.
at
He keeps it
keeping
so
this-
straight. I have no clue.
and what's funny is he actually knows like a lot of positions, so I wonder if he actually does train. He just doesn't like take it serious.
No,
in
I
the-
think he's
on the videos.
I think he's a big time martial artist, but I think he found his niche. He's quirky enough, but
He's a
enough where like nobody really
he's
hates him.
the guy though
Yeah.
for like classic
Yeah,
karate cult.
isn't that amazing that someone finds that niche? You
It's
know?
funny that
to
you
go like, you know what? I'm gonna be a comedian within this realm,
yeah,
and
he's
take
so
on this
good
persona.
at it.
You know,
He he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
imagine the amount of times he would be fun to have on a podcast. He wouldn't. I wonder how much you'd take it seriously versus not. Like to talk
Or being
people
character
say
the
that
whole
with like
time?
Stephen Colbert or whatever. It's like when he was like in character kind of thing versus
Oh.
like just him. It's like you need like how much could you get an interview with him like off character versus
Oh, yeah.
the Borat guy?
Maybe we would have to
Jared Cohen.
just do 2 of them. One with Master Ken and then
Yeah.
one with Ken, whatever his last name
Yeah.
is. The originator of Master Ken.
But I think it's
That'd be
interesting
cool.
because like I would love a story that he went and did that kind of like a Borat thing, and he actually went to school that someone was like not happy the way because he's got such a straight personality and the way he talks that like if
Oh.
someone was not realizing that he was joking,
That's all
or being
satire?
weird- yeah, satire.
Because
Like,
I think Jocko hired him to come and do a thing or something like that. Or
yeah,
at Jocko's
but
gym.
it's kind of like I think there's too many tight asses like in some of those gyms like I've seen, and just people are like, this isn't funny at all. Like I'm not gonna laugh and joke around. It's like this is just way too harsh. But you look at one of those badass people of all time with Jocko Willink, and he's cracking up and laughing. It's like, okay.
Craig Jones is laughing.
Yeah, like you gotta
Craig
like,
Jones is really,
gotta lighten
this
up a
is
little
really good.
There was some video recently of him doing some sort of blood test online. You gotta watch this. Like,
Craig Jones?
yeah, like, but it wasn't like official. I don't know where it was, like some sort of health place. And they're saying, look at all these toxins we're pulling out of your body. It had this like container of his liquid. It looked like it had foam on top. And someone's like,
That can't be real.
that looks like it has head on there, like it's beer, basically. It get pulled out of him. But he does all like he hits a nail on the head every single time.
Yeah.
He's
Such a silly
unbelievable.
dude. All right. Well, I think
Whatever
Yeah.
the episode was at this point.
no, I think we did actually cover
we had
some
we had a
valuable
theme.
things. We had some themes.
I'm okay with
We
that.
talked about a couple different deals. And I think these are sometimes good because we build up a backlog of random crap we want to talk about, and if we don't get that backlog out, it's just going to
Yeah.
fester, and
That's
then it's
true.
going to present itself in episodes where we're trying to stay on topic.
Yeah, for 5 minutes in.
I feel like this is almost like the Purge, but with topics in jiu-jitsu.
Purge. That's a creepy concept. I've never
I
watched
know.
the movie.
Ugh.
But
Either. I've only
concept-
seen the Rick and Morty one.
Rick and Morty. I've seen that with like the village or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Morty
messed
goes
up.
crazy. It's funny.
Yeah, but there we go. So, Levi, where can people find us?
thegrapplingpodcast.com.
Where else? Nobody goes there. We got to tell them all the other places.
Grapplingpodcast.uk.
Oh, really? We have that? Oh, yeah.
We don't.
Social media,
Social media, the
right?
Grappling
That's what the
Podcast.
kids use
Yes.
nowadays.
I just
Them
have Facebook and
whippersnappers?
Instagram. I'm not sure if we should be using other ones that are.
Probably should be doing the ticker talkers and the
Yeah,
snapper
I
talkers
should look into that too.
and the tater totters, all those things.
Face space.
Yeah, the face album. But yeah,
Something.
anyways, look us up on social media, especially Instagram and Facebook. Those are the places we are most focused. Also, if you like this episode, please share it with a friend. That's actually how we grow the pod, and it's very important to us. Also, Levi and I want validation, folks. We want validation. Tell us what we're doing is working. Tell us we're pretty.
No light rolls.
Yeah.
Wait. No, we want light rolls. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, everybody give us light rolls and tell us how good we're doing.
Yes,
but
thank you
in a
for that.
podcast sense.
And
So
to,
leave a 5-star review.
to
Tell
another
us how great we are.
another year
Yeah.
of Grappling Podcast. So it's been great.
With that, bye.
Bye.